You're lying in bed scrolling your phone, probably avoiding sleep for absolutely no reason. And your brain somehow thinks reading comments from strangers at 2 a.m. is productive. But here's the weird part. For most of human history, you would not have been alone. Not metaphorically, literally. Because humans once shared the planet with another species of human. Not monkeys, not cavemen with clubs. Actual humans. People who made tools, used fire, buried their dead. Probably had arguments. Probably had awkward social interactions. Imagine walking through a forest and meeting something that looked human, but wasn't your kind of human. That happened for thousands of years. And honestly, your brain still hasn't recovered from it. Today, humans act like we were always the main character. Like evolution spent billions of years preparing specifically for us. But for most of prehistory, we were just another weird ape trying not to die. And we weren't even alone. Around 40,000 years ago, Europe had Neanderthals. Tiny island forests had hobbit-sized humans called Homo floresiensis. Asia had Denisovans. At one point, the planet looked less like human history and more like a very confusing family reunion. Your ancestors could have looked across a valley and seen another species making campfires. Think about how insane that is. Not another tribe, another version of humanity. Close enough to recognize, different enough to fear. And your brain is extremely good at fear. Humans are tribal now. Imagine back then. Modern humans already panic over different accents on the internet. Now imagine seeing an entirely different species staring at you from the dark. Yeah, evolution probably had a field day with that one. Your brain is basically a paranoid security guard that survived long enough to reproduce. That's all evolution needed. Not happiness, not wisdom. Just, did this organism panic fast enough? And Neanderthals, they weren't stupid. That's the craziest part. For years, people imagined them as dumb brutes dragging clubs around like background NPCs. But evidence shows they made tools, hunted in groups, cared for injured people, used ornaments. Some scientists even think they made art, meaning somewhere in history. A Neanderthal probably sat near a fire, making something purely because they thought it looked nice. That feels weirdly emotional, because suddenly they stop feeling like creatures and start feeling like people, almost people, which is somehow worse. Now here's where things get uncomfortable. We didn't just coexist with them, we had children with them. Right now, inside your body, there may still be Neanderthal DNA. Modern humans literally absorbed pieces of another human species. Human history sounds less like evolution and more like extremely messy lore. And your ancestors probably thought all of this was normal somehow. But eventually, they disappeared. Every other human species vanished. Neanderthals, Denisovans, all gone, and we survived. Which sounds impressive until you realize survival does not necessarily mean better. Cockroaches survive everything. That's not exactly a compliment. Scientists still argue about why Neanderthals disappeared. Maybe climate change, maybe competition, maybe disease. Maybe we simply outnumbered them. Or maybe something darker happened. Because humans are very good at cooperation. But historically, we are exceptional at eliminating competition. Even when the competition looks almost exactly like us. Especially then. And this creates a terrifying question. If humans struggled to peacefully coexist with another species of human, why do we assume modern humans are naturally tolerant? Look around. People lose their minds over politics, football teams, phone brands. Now imagine another intelligent human species walking into modern society tomorrow. Twitter would explode in 6 minutes. Some guy would start a podcast immediately. Someone would definitely try to sell supplements to them. Humanity would somehow turn first contact into content creation. which honestly might be the most realistic part of this entire story. But the strangest part isn't that other humans existed. It's that they disappeared so recently. 40,000 years sounds huge, but evolution moves incredibly slowly. Meaning, if you went far enough back, your ancestors may have genuinely known another human species personally. Not as myth, not as legend, as neighbors, as rivals, maybe even as friends. There may have been jokes only both species understood, arguments we'll never hear, conversations erased forever. And now, there's just us, one surviving branch of a once crowded human family tree, which sounds lonely when you think about it too long. And maybe that's why humans are so obsessed with alien.